brothers.
So what was it talking about?
Oh, I forgot to.
No, it said the ubiquitous poll and the 7 percentile bracket was people said there wasn't a problem at the border, which every one of those people that said there's not a problem at the border, they need to move to the border and live in a tent. And,
Yeah.
And furthermore, they're on police detail, which means they get a pointy stick in a bag and they have to pick up trash,
Yeah,
including poop. So, I don't understand why they.
I think those are those idiots that are just they want to, you know, a man can have a baby.
It's that same purple-haired ding-dong crowd that just, I'm an outrage junkie, and you've colonized me, and now I can't. I need my DEI to get ahead of the power curve because I'm such a lamer that peanut dust kills me. You know, allegedly, metaphorically, ecumenically.
And all the other words.
Yeah, all them. But it's the same. It's the same. They took gender studies. They think soft skills is an actual viable class. They just failed math at all levels.
Soft skills.
Are we having problems at the border?
I think the border is a fucking problem.
Oh, yeah.
What problems?
Too many problems.
Too many.
Little problems that keep sneaking across.
Huh? They're not sneaking.
No, they're not.
They're
That's the
walking
thing.
right on over.
See, you've identified it.
There, I was watching
It's an open border.
one guy that's
it's
been
free to get in.
One guy that was
No, it's not free. It's costing us a shitload of money.
one guy from this Real America's Voice that's been down there reporting. He's been in the Darien Gap all the way up and down the border, and they were where the fence stops, the wall stops. There's all of these people just walking around it, and they come over this rock and around the fence, and he was like, "Oh, China?" And they're like, "Yeah, yeah." And it was like Chinese. All the people that was coming around, all from China.
All those Egg Foo Young ads we put out in the 60s are now getting filled. We need a bunch of the no ticket, no shirt. We need more.
Well,
Or more MS-13. Can Chinese guys be in MS-13, I wonder?
I don't know.
There's Chinese people in El Salvador and Nicaragua.
there's Chinese people everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, then I guess if they start having face tattoos, they'll be easy to self-identify.
I guess there was a while back, just recently was an African guy they were talking with, and that's in New York. I got bussed up there and dropped off and been living on the street, right? Sleeping on the streets. You know, it's fucking cold. And he's like, he has spent his life savings, which is, you know, $15,000 to get here. And he's like, fuck it. I want to go home.
Okay, we'll let you.
Nobody's doing anything for me.
No, nobody's doing anything for me. That's
Right.
the problem.
Ding,
Exactly.
ding, ding.
So, and then there was another guy from Venezuela, same thing. I came here with, you know, he was saying that he came here with the, you know, knowing that he was going to be taken care of and given something and, you know, having this opportunity. He's like, fuck it. I want to go home.
Well, he does have an opportunity. Anybody that comes over here, whether it's legally or illegally, they've all got opportunities.
You just got to,
You got to go take it.
you got to work for it.
You got to go make it.
Work for it.
Exactly.
Work for it.
There's a bunch of those Central and South Americans that are saying the same thing. You're not telling us the truth. We show up here and there's no infrastructure for us, and you got to give us
So, you know, I was watching and they were talking about how it was when they were saying that Joe Biden, from day one in office, that he changed everything, and that's when the migration happened. That's not when it happened. It happened back when they were doing the campaign and
Obama.
Well, yeah, but the thing is there, I wish I could remember which one it was, but it was I don't know if it was, I think it was a debate that was taking place, and Biden actually said, "Come now," because he was talking, you know, we're going to let the migrants come in, and he was like, "Come now," And then that's when the flood started happening.
And somebody in the audience should have screamed, "Not without medication."
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't. I'm trying. I can't.
I wish the news
that
could
rude?
would play the clip when it, it's like he started this long before it was premeditated. He knew what he was doing.
He said, "Come now," and Jeffrey Toobin thought it was a personal challenge.
Well, the thing about all of this stuff is if you look back, I mean, it's like abortion, all right? It's
Yeah.
always just been a point of contention between two groups of people.
Right.
And it is used as a divisive tactic.
An outrage trigger.
Exactly. And the same with immigration, legal or illegal. It is used by one side or the other at any given time to benefit them as a talking point, and they never do anything about it.
Right.
Any of it.
Well,
They
that's free
just
speech.
scream and complain about it. Any Republican that's out there right now saying this and this and this and this and this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and blah blah blah, and they never do a damn thing. They talk about smaller government. They haven't done anything about it.
It's because they're rhinos and they're not
All
gonna.
of them.
It's
Every
the-
stinking one of them.
It's the independents and the conservatives are the ones that are going to make the changes, not the two-party dingbats that are.
I don't think it's even the independents and the conservatives. Anybody that gets in there, as soon as they're part of the machine, boom, forget about it. Forget about it.
I think ultimately they get worn down, but
Well, I
Yes,
mean,
I
and-
also think that they buy
establishment
into
rhino.
it. They buy into it.
I think they're purchased into
I still
it.
think. Exactly.
well, in this,
But yeah, they're purchased into it. They're bought into it.
so just recently, what is it? 67 members of the Republican caucus that went down there.
Caucus.
The congressmen and women went down there.
Oh, Mike Johnson was getting interviewed, and there's a whole bunch of
Yes.
aliens
No, he
coming
was
from-
giving a speech, and there's fucking illegals
He
and
was
all of the
pontificating-
press.
and they're waving.
And yeah, and
There was
they're-
a lady holding a camera up.
It
That
was basically
fucking hilarious.
his. He was saying that if the funding, if it doesn't go towards securing the border, we're not going to approve it. And
He says that he talks
well,
big. He's
well,
not
the thing,
backing
I don't
up.
know all the details because I just heard about it. That he kind of went at the White House with, here he is with what's the Congress minority, Jeffries,
Hakeem.
Yeah.
Hakeem Jeffries.
Jeffries, what's his name, Schumer. And Biden, and he's three against one, and
Well, you
basically
can't
rolled
mess
over.
with- you can't mess with Schumer now because he's Jewish and a girl. So,
Yeah, well, he's a fucking retard.
yes.
He's a snake in the grass.
He's lower than a snake's belly.
Mm-hmm.
He's a douchebag.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think
And he poops in his pants like Nagel does.
they put like so many billion into defense, and then the military all the defense money is put on hold. So that's basically what I got. So it means all the money that was going to defense, which I'm assuming was part of going to the border.
Defense.
Yeah, you would think.
DE-FENCE. Defense.
Defense.
You think, and
Or is it an apostrophe?
so
Yes.
Just
so
a capital
all
D.
government defense spending has been put on hold. So that means all the money that went there is what? Doing nothing.
Oh, it's doing something. It's paying for somebody's slush fund.
Yeah.
Somebody's
So it's like-
somebody's making cash money. That's what they're making all the My Pillows with. I don't know. I can't do a good Mike Lindell. Buy My Pillow. It's wonderful. Sorry, it's not as good as.
You can do it in Arnold.
Yeah, but then I'll be stuck in Arnold mode for the rest of the day. I got to come up with something else.
You need some new material.
Be Tommy. Tommy's pretty cool. Give me your Tommy impersonation.
We don't need an intervention. I'm not having a psychotic break. I'm trying to come up with something funny. Apparently, I'm pretty funny all by my lonesome. Sitting over here in a corner making doo-doo balls.
I still want to know who's the guy? Who's our guy? or gal? Who's our person?
For what?
I don't know. I got fed up with Nikki Haley stuff. I guess Carrie Lake's.
I know.
Carrie Lake, Christy.
I told you.
Yeah, you were right. You were right.
Yeah, that's Ron DeSantis he's bailing out 15th.
Is he though?
Yeah. They announced it this morning that he's actually pulling out of the race on the 15th before the vote.
Pulling out early.
Yeah.
He's practicing birth control.
Wow.
I think I like.
But he's backing. He's going to pull out, but he's going to back Trump, which I think everyone that's running in the GOP.
Okay, that's not too coincidental or by design. So, well, you got Vivek
Ramalama Ding Dong. Let me
Yeah.
tell you about him. I heard a conversation with him the other day, and he's talking about, I'm in it. I'm not going to get out. I'm going to stay in. I'm going to ride this all the way to the end, all the way to the end. And then he starts talking about,
Cabinet
how
position
Nikki
A.
Haley is being, the liberal left is starting to back her. Of course, the military complex is her very good friend.
Is the military complex like the herpes complex?
And that's a simplex for this person. But anyway, so he's talking about
Just
how
saying.
she's getting big donors from the liberal side.
What?
Big donors, Donyers, big Donyer suits
Big Don.
that are backing her.
taking the
And
big
then he
ones.
starts saying, I'm going to stay in. And he talks about
Yeah, there's been a lot
how
of guys
Trump
talking
is-
about that, too.
He's talking about Trump
without
is
pills.
fine at
Slit soak.
but he is not going to be able to. They're not going to let him get on
Yeah.
the ticket. They're going to fight him and fight him and fight him. He's not going to get in there. He's not going to make it. So Vivek Ramalama Ding Dong is saying you can't vote for Nikki Haley, okay, because she's the left, and you can't back Trump because they're not going to let him get on the ballot. So that's why I'm staying in the race.
So that changed because so the
Maine,
Trump
Maine and Colorado.
the Colorado
That got reversed.
yes, because and it's still in the Supreme Court too. So they're still they went ahead and changed it, put him on the ballot, but it's still being reviewed in the Supreme Court. And I think what's going to happen is they're going to say, yeah, that's unconstitutional. You can't do that, and it's going to wipe out a lot of other things.
So is ballot stuffing.
Yeah.
Well,
No.
I just believe that until he is actually convicted of something.
Right.
But then who was the one lady said that it doesn't say, and what is it? Where were they talking? Is it the 14th Amendment? Which amendment is it?
Well,
four-
they keep saying the 14th Amendment because that was in
Yeah.
reference to Confederate officials.
No, I understand,
trying to be
but what they're
re-included.
saying is, it doesn't say convicted in there, just involved in
Adjacent
Yeah, but
to,
or not a
the invol-
resurrection. What
insurrection.
Insurrection.
But the thing is you
it's an
you've gotta-
insurance-based erection.
you just can't just say, okay, we think you're involved with the insurrection. We're going to use this 14th Amendment, and you can't ever be president again. It's like,
Well,
you gotta-
conversely, the 25th can be used on the current one. So, just saying.
yeah, but I mean,
You
you
can.
got to. There's a due process, and there's a you
What?
just-
No, there's
But
not.
now you have to define what constitutes an insurrection. I don't think this was an insurrection.
No, it wasn't.
I really don't. And
And I think-
there was some foul play that went on. Of course, there were some bad actors. There's bad actors in anything, and
Yeah, I've seen Die
that's the
Hard
stuff
4.
that they use to really create the narrative that this is some sort
An
of
insurrection was the
But
summer of
and
love.
and the thing is like in 2020, I guess it was 2020 when Antifa
those are
Antifa went to
insurrections.
DC,
Yeah.
and they burnt down a fucking building,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but that's not an insurrection.
No, that's free
Yep.
speech.
Yep.
That's
yep. Yep. But I just know that the way things are going, and with all of the stuff that the left is doing now, pushing this insurrection stuff, what's going to happen is a resurrection. There's going to be a resurrection of Trump, and they're
I'm
creating
telling-
it. Thank you, liberal left.
Thank you.
Keep on trucking.
The thing is it's I watched. He did two speeches. What was it? Yesterday, not day before yesterday, when he was in Iowa, and one of them was 2 hours long, and then he jumped on his plane and went over to another part of Iowa and did an hour and a half. But I think there's going to be a lot of I think all of his cabinet's in place, all of his executive orders are written and done.
Yeah.
I think it's all laid out, and because he's talking, he's basically, it's going to be, law enforcement's going to be have their power. They're not going to be sued, so they can do their job. There's going to be massive. I mean, it's going to be. I think the border's going to be closed for about 30 days, and nobody's going to go anywhere.
One can hope. Well, my personal fantasy is
That's what I think.
is that day one, Trump's up there, and there's a pile of these Biden executive orders, and Chris Kattan is in a jester suit, ripping all of these pieces together while
He's
new ones getting hand jammed into the process.
Yep. I think that's exactly what's going to happen. You're going to do it right there.
Well, if the
It prob-
Republicans can get control and they don't do anything again under Trump while they're in control, it just
Yeah, it's
I know.
it's mind numbing.
Well, I'm very I'm trying to be hopeful that we're going to get the House and the Senate and then the White House, and if
there's going to be a lot of screaming and gnashing of teeth then.
because all them people are going to have to be cleaning out their desk.
I'm talking about in the cities.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, well, I think they're talking about. I guess Biden. They're talking about how Biden wants to create so much problems in the country that the MAGA extremist pulls the trigger and then he declares martial law.
It's the Biden regime against MAGA. And
Right.
MAGA is not a MAGA is formerly the Tea Party movement.
Right, and that's what they're waiting on, is somebody from the MAGA to do it again, and then he can declare martial law.
They need another
They
James
can-
Earl Ray.
they can-
Cancel the election.
Correct. That's exactly what they're talking about.
In their wet dreams. It's nothing is that coordinated enough, and nobody's that foolish enough. Except
Well, we
maybe
didn't think that would.
college kids.
I mean, they did pretty good on a freaking plague.
Well, let me tell you, the radical right, if that happens,
they got Chinese.
the
Yeah.
radical right won't do anything. And the reason
No.
is because they got to get up and go to work.
Right. True.
That's pretty
Very valid point.
All the voting conservatives are too busy at work. Yeah.
Funding America.
Funding Section 8, funding all this student loan repayment.
Just saying.
Yeah. All these false prophets, false teachings that's been happening.
Well, if you see Noah and Enoch walking down the road, you might want to have your nuclear-proof underwear ready.
Yeah.
Put on your life vest.
Yeah, because it's a coming.
It's a coming.
Fixing to be a turd floater.
Yeah, it's going to be a turd floater.
Reed Brothers.